you live and in living color because all this color wouldn't look good in black and white. I am just so pleased to be here with you to share information with you. And I'm even more pleased and more happy because my friend, that's my friend. That's my friend. That's my friend, retired Sergeant Randy Franklin. He was a police officer in the LAPD department, and they tried to get his brother all kind of HE double hockey sticks. And you know what he did with his lemonade? With his lemon, he didn't just make lemonade, he made a whole lemonade factory. Hey, welcome to the program again. This is Sergeant Randy Franklin, a retired police officer with the LA Police Department who has been working diligently to get the word out. Hey, Randy Franklin, it's good to see you. Like he put on the tie for me. I don't know if he put on the tie for me. I know hey, Randy Franklin, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. First, let me say thank you very much for having me back. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you know I love you. And you always have great information for us. So, Randy Franklin, tell them about yourself. Your being a former, I don't even want to say former, being a retired sergeant in the LAPD department.
I did 30 years of LAPD. I did almost every division you could have from 77 Southeast, Southwest. While I lived in South Central LA, because I lived off of Main and King. But I did my patrol there, and you run into good and bad on the police department, not the people. And we just try to do some social justice about it, because you have to ask yourself, when you try to do police accountability, how do you enforce police accountability when they have nothing to lose? So you have to start from there first, and then got to go on.
I call them, you know what I call them? Gangsters with guns that legally got guns. And because you had a horrific situation inside of with your own fellow officers. Tell them what they did. Because every time I even think about it, I still get ticked off. Well, and I'm glad you have such a positive attitude. But this is what happens to their own police officer, their fellow man in blue. Tell them what they did to you.
Well, like I tell them all the time, because I started social justice while I was on the police department. I mean, I did not believe in arresting people erroneously. I believe if you weren't guilty of a crime, you could go. And I was a watch commander, so I had the power to just release people, and I released a lot of people. Well, that didn't look good. So one night,
that didn't look good for who?
Didn't look good.
I mean, you release innocent people. Who does that not look good for?
No, you're supposed to release innocent people. Oh. But one night in 2007, 50 LAPD officers surrounded my house in South Central LA, and they raided my house. They accused me of murder. They said I was a dope dealer, gangbanger, all of that. And then that night, they asked me if I could still be the watch commander.
How much stupid do you have to be to even think that?
I don't know. Okay. They took my guns in a murder, and then they said, by the way, you got to come to work tonight and be the watch commander. Dude, you just raided my house and took my guns. But we went through that. Everybody know everything was unfounded. There had never been a dope dealer, never been that, never committed a murder. And they still have me in the murder book. So I guess 20 years down the road, somebody gonna show up and knock on my door and say, "Hey, by the way, we have your guns, and you were implicated in a murder."
You never got your guns back?
No, they won't give them back to me. They want to keep them in the murder book so that they can maybe down the road accuse me of murder. So I don't know, but I continue with my social justice theme and in teaching people. I'm teaching people a different way to get police accountability, because sooner or later you're going to realize everything you're doing ain't working, because how do you control anyone that has nothing to lose? So,
and that when you are in a position where you have nothing to lose, you'll do anything, because what am I going to do? Now, did any of those officers that raided your house and put this crazy stuff on the books, has any of them ever said to you, Sergeant Franklin, we are really sorry for the way that we treated you. You are our brother. You've given 30 years of your life to the service of this company, to this community. Have they ever said, Sergeant Franklin, we're really sorry for what we've done?
Oh, absolutely not. They were promoted. One was even made my supervisor after he wrote a fraudulent search warrant to my house. They brought him to my stage, go, now he's your supervisor, whatever. But no, and
How
you
did
don't
you,
expect
well,
them.
how did you work through that? And you said, "Oh, I'm not gonna let this stand. You don't get
But
to take me down like this."
well, I sued them,
Mhm.
for writing a false search warrant, but that's a whole nother matter. We'll talk about that later. I tell people all the time, if and because you got to realize that your lawyer can be the sixth man on their team. And when I found out that, I had to sue my lawyer because he ended up being on the team of the police
See,
department. And when we
this
discovered
is the
that,
kind of stuff to
we had
make
to
you
figure it
say,
out.
oh, HE double hockey's to the no. And you like a phoenix, you have risen from the ashes. And
Well,
you look great, you sound great, you're positive, and you keep it moving. You keep it going. You're not letting this go. And you shouldn't have to. Talk to people about your program and your social justice that you are working diligently on.
well, right now we're working on, because I tried for 20 years to tell people how to control the police. You got to remember, I tell people that the police, no matter what we do, you pay for it. So if we beat, rape, rob someone, the taxpayer pay for it. We don't get to pay for anything. And as long as you keep paying for our misconduct, it's always going to happen that way. So until you realize what we've been saying, that some of the things you do uh, uh, doesn't even hurt the police. Like I tell people, when you march down a road and you see a police car being burned, you got to remember, we left that car there for you to burn, because there is nothing wrong with that car. We could have drove that car away anytime we wanted to, except it takes you off message because the news media don't talk about your cars. They talk about burning a car. So we leave it there. Burn it. It's your car. The next day we just tow it to
Get
the
a new
tow
car.
yard and get a brand new one. It's taxpayers' money. We don't care about stuff like that. But until you learn the tactics of the police, and I've been trying to give people the playbook for years. Here's the playbook. This is how we're going to run the plays. But everybody keep running the same plays they want to run. So
How do we the public who are paying their salary, how do we as the public hold the police officers accountable? Because the police officers cannot police themselves. They will not correct themselves. They'll put it under the rug, and it'll die down. And when all the crazy dies down, we'll just go back to doing what we're doing. How do we, as the taxpayers, what is our responsibility? Because
well,
a lot of us are talking crazy. We got to ban the police officer, kill the police. Okay, but as soon as something jump off, you're like, "Where's the police? I need the popo. How come they're not? Now you want us to be your friend? It can't be like that. What are we doing wrong, and what do
well,
we need to do to
on
help that playbook?"
on that subject, I tell people all the time, because I don't defund or do nothing, because there's a lot of good police on there. You got to find the bad
Absolutely.
apples. So to find the bad apples, what you have to do is stop paying for misconduct. It doesn't mean take anything away from the police. Don't take any benefits, nothing away from them.
Mhm.
But you have to make them carry, like an uninsured motorist. They have to carry a misconduct policy, which they sell already in California for $30 a month. It covers them up to $1 million. So the taxpayers,
Wait. Roll that back. Say that again.
I said that they have to carry a supplemental misconduct insurance nationwide. LAPD lose $60 million a year in misconduct. And if the officers carried a $30 a month policy, and then if they did anything wrong, because you got to remember, like in George Floyd, when he killed George Floyd, he had already been sued 2 or 3 times already. And
Before
if
that,
before that, and you got to look
you
at,
talking about Chauvin, the one that went to jail.
yeah. So you have to look at that when an officer gets sued, and if you give him a buffer of 25,000 for frivolous lawsuits, every time he gets sued, it's like crashing your car 10 times. Sooner or later, insurance company will not insure him. And then nationwide, he will never be a policeman anymore, because we have identified him as a bad apple. The insurance company did. If you crash your car in New York 4 times, you California
You,
and
you,
get insurance, because they got you nationwide. And we got to stop gypsy cops. So because bad cops just quit and go to another department.
and
But if they had to maintain a supplemental, and I keep saying supplemental because people, when you talk to people, they say, "You want to take this?" I want to take zero benefits from the police. I just want them to carry a supplemental misconduct insurance policy, like an uninsured motorist. And that will tell you who the bad apples are. You ain't got to do no more than that. And that will solve that problem basically for the police, because we didn't take nothing from you, so the union can't complain. We just said, and you got to carry a $30 policy.
A $30 policy? Wait a minute.
Month.
And did you, okay, $30.
And they already sell it.
Wait a minute. And this will cover them up to $1 million.
Up to $1 million.
To that particular officer. And his or her
misconduct. And 90% of the lawsuits are under $1 million. Now you got to remember, it doesn't protect them completely, because if the award is $15 million, the city's going to pay after that because negligent hiring. But we're going to catch that officer before he gets to a $27 million lawsuit, because a bad apple can't stop being bad. It's like a dope dealer ain't going to stop selling dope. I don't care how many times you book him, because he thinks that's his income.
That is. Even though he doesn't have a retirement plan.
Let's learn how to catch the bad policeman when he first starts making mistakes. See, and then you won't get to the place where he commits murder. And then now the taxpayers got to come in their pocket more than that. But I'll guarantee you that 90% of all lawsuits are under $1 million. And then he can't get more than 3 or 4 in his career without his insurance going skyrocket. And then he can't afford insurance. Go find another job. But we can find the bad apples. That's how you find them.
And they don't want to find them?
No, they don't want to find them.
And they see, because is it almost like a inside club inside of the police departments? Because it's not just LA. I mean, it's this, craziness is all over the country, where police officers, are shooting people down, shooting them in the back. And it's like, oh, well, I saw this one where the police got out, the guy was maybe 100 feet away from him. There was no threat to his life, and shot this kid in the back. I don't even think they ever brought him up on charges. I'm not sure, but I don't think they did.
No, and that's what people got to understand about the concept of things. If an officer crossed the blue line and tell you there's a bad copper, he's going to get in a lot of trouble. He'll lose his job and get paid, get violated like Carl Cavalier, who gave us five murders of his own in Louisiana. So, but we get rewarded for not talking. Remember, if we do something bad, the first thing gonna happen to us is they're gonna suspend us with pay for 2, 3, 6 months, which means that I don't have to go to work and I get my full salary.
So we're technically, what you're saying is we're paying for this misconduct to continue. Does there need to be more community groups that are saying we're going to hold these police officers accountable, that we're watching what you're doing, we can say what you're doing, and we expect to have some kind of reprimand, you got to do something. You don't get to sit at home for 6 months and get paid when you didn't do your job.
Absolutely, but we'll do that. See, it's 2 prongs. There are good coppers on the police department. Mm-hmm. And when they see bad coppers do things, you got to understand the good copper will be punished. He will be fired, thrown off, ostracized. He's out the door. If you create crime on the police department, and you'll be suspended, but everybody come in and say, oh, you shot that guy in the back, he shouldn't have ran, or something like that, which is a crime. But they'll pat you on the back. And remember, at your disposal, if you do bad, you have the district attorney, you have your union lawyer. You don't have to go look for a lawyer. You have them on your side. Okay. And you got all your co-workers patting you, saying a good job. But the copper that crossed the blue line, he will be fired. He will lose his pension. He will be a snitch, a rat, whatever you want to call him. So we have to learn to take care of those coppers that steps up and help us. But we keep abandoning them. And if we abandon them, every organization I know abandon them and leave them out to dry. So you're never going to solve this problem until you come at it the right way.
And the right way is what? Because it doesn't seem like a lot of stuff is working right now. What is the pushback about your social injustice and about the program that you're putting out here about these police officers having this $30 insurance? What's the pushback?
Us, minorities, us. I'll give you an example of it. All right. And I talked about Carl Cavalier. Carl Cavalier was a Louisiana police officer. He had 8 years on the job, graduated college, doing very well. And then he heard about this tape out there of five of his officers beat this black man to death. They said it was a 12 years of slave Django type ass whooping, they said. So he found the video and he witnessed on tape the murder of Ronald Green. They beat him to death. This 2 years before George Floyd. They hid it for 2 years, and then Carl had enough and he gave us the video, which right now, today, we have those 5 officers indicted in Louisiana for murder. But quickly, Carl Cavalier lost his job, his house, his benefits. No one will ever hire him again to be a police officer because he crossed the blue line.
But he spoke the truth.
But here's the deal with speaking.
And wait a minute, he spoke the truth and he got a video. And that's not enough.
No, not for us. I'm not anybody else, us. So Carl lost everything and he went to GoFundMe for a defense fund. And in 3 years, he raised $15,000. That's to pay everything, house notes, everything. $15,000. There's millions of us. So I told him, I put some out and I started, telling people, listen, the least we can do is buy this brother a McDonald's cup of coffee and a donut. You got 5 on it, right?
You got 5 on it.
Yeah, but we left him in the cold. Mother love, we left him he's out in the cold right now. He filed an appeal last month on his own because he can't get a lawyer. Now, we're talking about Black Lives Matter, got $90 million, never contacted him. The NAACP has a full civil attorney unit or civil rights unit with full attorneys. None of them have talked to him, and no state. So he's out there in the wind, blowing on his own, trying to find a job because who wants an honest police officer? No one.
You know, that I never would have thought that we would have ever had those words put together. Who wants an honest police officer? So it's almost like you have to come in with the attitude that you could do some corrupt stuff. You know, I mean, I saw Training Day when they was, and I saw the movies where they were robbing the drug dealers and, you know, killing off the drug dealers and carrying on with all the territories and all of this. We need the police department. And this is the part that just confuses me about people who are jumping up and down about the Second Amendment right, my right to bear arms and have as many guns as I want to. That was because we did not have a standing militia. We got standing militias. We got the police department, the fire department. We got the National Guard. We got a standing militia. So what does another human being need with an assault weapon that is made strictly to kill? I don't understand that.
No, and they're going to change it just as soon as a lot of minorities start buying guns. They'll change it really quickly.
Now, see, okay.
They'll change it quickly.
I see, you know, y'all wrong. My husband said the same thing. He said, it's going to be gun control law. Let us start buying 15, 20 assault rifles and see how that's going to go. They're going to pull up everything they can about us because, what do you need an assault weapon for? Well, what do you need 5 of them for? What? You don't need them. And these are coming from the people who manufacture guns. They said you can't take our job away from us because somebody else wants to do something crazy with it. You know, and that's unfair even to the gun dealers. And we it's like we can't separate them. Like we just won't let that marinate in our brains. So it makes sense that we need these men and women out there protecting us so we don't have to carry a firearm. I have never owned a gun in my life. Never. First of all, me and my sister, and we were raised around guns. I mean, it wasn't about, you know, going into mama's pocketbook and taking her loaded 38 out of her. My mother carried a loaded 38 in her purse until she passed away. Because she was like, y'all too big for me to whoop. I'm going to have to pop a cap on one of y'all. And if I pop one of y'all, I'm going to kill all y'all. And I'm going to go, they ain't going to put me in jail. They're going to put me in a nut house. Because they know I snapped. And I was like, okay, that's the fear that we grew up with. Okay, I was scared of my mom. I'm like, and she told a loaded 38, and we never touched her gun. She had a double barrel shotgun behind the door. Somebody was trying to break in and we lived in the projects. Somebody was trying to break in the house. My sister and I, my older sister and I, she got the part, got the gun to hold the barrel up, and she pulled it. Both of us was not clean back into the living room. We ain't had no business touching that gun. And they're saying that a lot of these people who are coming out with these mass killings and stuff, they were mentally unstable. Really? Why are they starting to use that for everything?
Because that's their excuse for everything. You weren't mentally unstable when we sold you the gun, but you kill people when you're mentally unstable. Some of them are not unstable. They're just mad.
And angry.
They're angry. So you can't say he was he knew what he was doing. He targeted the right people. He went there and killed. But I believe gun control is going to happen. If we want to talk about gun control, everyone listening needs to vote only for people who believe in gun control. You have to have the Congress and the president if you want gun control, like anything else. They made their mistake with abortion, and now they're going to make it with guns, because no matter what you do, soft targets are soft targets. And if you look around, the targets are all nationalities. It's not just one nationality.
Right.
Every nationality is now getting killed in supermarkets and places. So
can't
I'm
go
not
into
worried about
Walmart. You can't go into the Target, because go to the grocery store. That kid went up there in the grocery store and killed all them people because he didn't like black people. He didn't even know any black people. I'd venture to say he did not know it. So why are you that angry at such a young age? That hate has been put in him from someplace. You just don't grow up, hating everybody simply because, well, you do when it's, that's the foundation that you're growing up in. When your father's telling you all the time, them black people, they got tails, they mean, they looking out for you, they taking away our country, and we're going to take it back. Okay, I want to know, who are they think they're taking the country back from? Aren't we all Americans here? When did that line go in?
Well, I tell people all the time, for people that rhetoric, you can always go home. I tell them, whatever boat you came on, your relatives came on, back to England, Russia, wherever, you can go home. So I don't even worry about when they say that to me, because this is not their home either. These unless you Mexican or Indian or got some of that blood in you, it's not your home. But you can always return where you came from. I told a white friend of mine, you can go to Russia. They're 99% white, so it's Finland and Swedish. If you want that, get on a boat and leave. But I tell people the reason they're so mad, Mother Love, is, and people say this is the worst time ever. I say worse than slavery, worse than the 60s, worse than the Civil War. So people want you to believe that we were divided. We killed more Americans than anything in the Civil War. The problem they're angry is because now everyone is being elevated, no matter what your nationality is. You're being elevated to positions in Congress and the legislatures, district attorneys. And it angered them because the young people that was born basically in the 60s and the 70s want to live their grandfather's life, but you can't live your grandfather's life.
You cannot. And this is, it's like that guy that's running for the president, the governor of Florida, who said, we're going to ban books that have anything to say about anything white people did to other black people. We don't want to talk about slavery. We're not going to let the kids read books about gay people, about black politicians, about black business owners. They don't even want to tell, they cannot deal with the fact that, the horrible thing that happened in Oklahoma when they massacred an entire town, dropped bombs on their fellow Americans because these black people got together and said, okay, we can take our resources and we can build us a city. They bought property. They just gave a family back land they had stole from them hundreds of years ago here in California.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, my bad. And this DeSantis guy, well, what we're gonna do, we're gonna change the history books because it's going to upset our children when they find out that their ancestors and their grandfathers and their great grandfathers killed black people, tortured them, hung them from trees. Now their ancestors were the one that were hanging our ancestors from trees, and had their kids come in like, oh, this is a big party. We're gonna hang 5 black people and coming out, and that's where the word picnic came from, because they would come out with food, the picnic, and watch the black people be hung. They don't want to tell them that. They don't want to tell them how they raped and murdered our mothers. You know, the slave master had as many women in this country, have to have as many babies as he wants to. Thomas Jefferson, who was the president of the United States in Montana back in the day, one of our founding fathers, had multiple slaves and had multiple children with his slave, Sally Hemings. Oh, he's supposed to know that. Oh, he's supposed to know that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to know the evil things that they do. We'll just push this stuff you can't push up under the rug. And if we don't tell the truth, you know, about history, it will repeat itself. And if you look at it now, we're kind of in a modern day slavery situation like right now. How you gonna tell a woman what to do with her body and say, well, we're gonna legislate this? Oh no, you don't get to have an abortion. You just have to have that baby because that baby is viable. There was a woman in because you brought up about the abortion laws.
Texas.
I can't think of what she was, but she was pregnant, and her baby was not going. Her fetus was not going to survive. Her fetus had some kind of horrible condition that was not going to allow this fetus to develop normally. The doctor said, "You need to terminate this pregnancy, and if you don't, you can die." It's in the state of Texas. Google it, y'all. Go on one of the websites. We on these platforms. We on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Amazon. Music is available. We're on Castbox. We are on Deezer. I just like to say that, Deezer. Oh no, it's just like something nasty on my head, Deezer. I love it. We're on a podcast addict. We are on it's a whole bunch of stuff. There's so many things. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, the Mother Love Show, Blog Talk Radio. You can hear us in South Africa, India, here in the U.S., Brazil, Spain, and Norway. So people are getting the message. People are listening to this. And when we speak truth to power, that gives us the strength to say, we can make change. We can make power. You don't like it? You don't like the way the gun laws go? Go register to vote and vote. Don't just register. Go and read what these men and women are championing out here. I mean, because you think about it, when I call him the idiot president, when the 45th was in there, him and Mitch McConnell stacked the judiciary. They stacked the judicial system. We're going to get as many people that we want in there. We want all these radical people. I mean, they busted they pump not to allow Barack Obama, two-time president, that they still ain't got over that. They still ain't. And that's why that's why a lot of them still mad. How dare you elect a black man for president 8 years? What kind of craziness is that? Y'all just mad because he came up and he stepped up and he did what he saw to do. And they pissed off that, they won't get a second term. Oh, boo, freaking ho.
Well, yeah, we don't worry about that because
we can't worry about it. We got time.
They brought in who they wanted to bring in. And I tell, women shouldn't let men control their body. I don't care what you vote, independent or Republican or Democrat. You should vote, even just one time, to get this settled. Vote the way for your own interest. Stop voting against your own interest. That's what I tell people all the time. If you do that, you're going to be fine. Their 45th president, I could talk about that all day. We have a show.
I know, because you know what? I ain't getting ready to get my pressure up. And we got skin in this game. We cannot act like that. We can be non-participatory and expect something different to happen. You can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome. Isn't that what they call crazy?
Yeah, that's what they call crazy.
And it is. And we are not standing up for what we need to stand up for. We need to stand up for human rights. We need to stand up in our country. I ain't got a problem with helping anybody else, and we got allies, and we got friends. Okay, but this is home. We're the only the people who are descendants of the slave trade. That would be me. We can take them directly back to Senegal, to the door of no return. I can go back with my ancestors. I am a product of the transatlantic slave trade. And and they pissed off because it's like, are they ever going to go away? What is wrong with them? And why are they marrying black men? And and half of them got interracial kids. I don't understand. Did the 45th forget that his daughter was married to a Jewish man and that his grandchildren are Jewish. I mean, how much stupid do you have to be to understand this cat cares about no one, not even your own children, not even your own grandchildren. So how could we expect any of them, any of these radical Republicans to say, oh no, we're going to keep the gun laws on there. Don't be going after our guns. We're going to tell these women what to do with their uterus. And I said, turnabout is fair play. You want to tell us what to do with our uterus? We get to tell you what to do with your penis. How about we cut both of them just cut the scrotum off. Nip it off. How about that? How would you feel about that? Somebody came to you and said, oh, you know what? We don't like the fact that you're making all these babies. So what we want to do, we want to cut your scrotum off where you can't make no more babies. We just going to take your sperm sac away from you. You don't get to do that. You do it. And the women who voted for these Republicans, my head spins like in The Exorcist sometimes. Because how could you vote for somebody who was telling you don't get to make a choice about your body? This your uterus you walking around with. You got to tell these people no. And the women that voted for them, they gonna catch hell. Well, God help them if they got daughters. You know. It's just awful. And people are sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Oh, somebody else will do it. Oh, we don't have to do it. We don't have to get involved in that. They'll do it. Randolph Franklin will do it. Mother Love will do it. When do you get up off your behind to understand you don't get to reap the benefits and not, have something to say about it? And if you don't vote, you don't vote. You're giving weight to the people who are running things.
Absolutely. I tell Mother Love this. I remember where all those laws are being passed, all in the red states. But those people voting are going to send themselves, their daughters or their granddaughters to jail with a felony. So I'm not really worried about it, I tell them, because you know what? Until they learn to vote correctly in their lifetime, someone in their family is going to go to prison for the way they voted. Because in all of the Democratic states, you can exercise your right of choice, but in the red states, then fine, you will send your granddaughter or your daughter to jail by the way you vote. So vote the way you want to vote until you learn to get your own independence and freedom. You'll realize that that's a bad vote down the road, and you won't care until your granddaughter's in prison. And then you'll start caring, and then you want to revert back over. See, but I don't think that's going to be a problem because I don't listen to polls because polls have always been wrong.
Always.
And I personally, as old as I am, have never met or know anyone in my lifetime that's been polled.
Me? So, you know what? Wait a minute. You know what? Neither have I.
No. So why would we care about polls when I know I can't in my circle, and I got a lot of friends. I can't name one friend that's been polled in my lifetime. So when they come up with these NBC or CBS or Fox News polls,
AP polls, and this came from the university, I'm like, really?
I don't know who they polled.
You have 5 people and it could be a poll.
Absolutely, but I don't know.
You have 5, and they never poll the people. Like when they go into the red states, they'll ask them questions that they already know the answer to. I was listening to this woman. I just really felt sorry for her. She said on television, she said, I don't care if he go to jail. If he on the ballot, I'm still going to vote for him. I don't care he's saying nothing about, abortion. I'm too old to have a baby. That ain't my issue. Well, what about if you got grandchildren? What if you got daughters and your daughter come to you and say, Uncle Fred, he raped me, mama, and I'm pregnant. Well, now you just got to have that baby. No, you don't. You don't get to tell us what to do. Yeah. And for these men, I'm so sick of these people, these men on the Supreme Court. And do you think the Supreme Court justices, that should be a lifetime appointment?
I don't think, no. That's another thing. Everybody should have term limits, whether it's 12 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if we show up to vote, Biden already said he's going to put 4 more on there. And if he does that, then they'll get term limits. Nobody in power is going to relinquish power. You have to make them relinquish power by doing something that offsets it or make it even. And then they'll want to change the rules. Like if everybody buy guns, and then they'll be like, oh no, we got to change the rules.
What, women at the shooting range? Oh, black people? What, you gonna put guns in
Absolutely.
a Latino person? Oh no, and we certainly can't have the foreigners coming over here. You know, and
And
I mean, it's just been such a crap show since
yes,
since literally since Barack Obama could not run for office again. You know,
absolutely.
and
But
it's just crazy, and they just want to hold. I refuse to accept the fact that I lost. I'll do whatever I got to do. Listen, I'm gonna call the guy down. Let me call the guy down in Georgia. I need you to find me 11,700 votes. Okay, that's why I don't care where you get it from. Okay, and I need you to go here and find me some fake electors because we got to turn this around. When they told him to his face, you know you lost. I know I lost, but they keep telling me, you act like you didn't lose. Now, and that's what I don't understand. They talking about, well, maybe he shouldn't go to jail. Well, why is all the other people going to jail? Why is all these people that was in the insurrection, going to jail? If he does not go to jail, you got 91 counts against you in multiple states, multiple charges. You got a $250 million, and then I'm gonna testify on my behalf. I ain't gonna testify. I ain't going back up there. No.
yeah, I shouldn't say this because I
Yes,
shouldn't give away. I shouldn't give away the secret sauce, but I'm gonna do it on your show.
See, they started, y'all. I'm telling you, I just observed and report.
Here's the secret sauce. See, people ask me about Trump, and I say I love that Trojan horse, who was a Democrat and Republican. As long as he keep the Republican Party divided in half, I love him. Remember, we got the Mississippi flag change. We got every base changed from Confederate soldiers to Black and Hispanic leaders now. And if he can keep that 50% of the Republicans his way and 50 the other way, they'll never win. That's the secret sauce. So as much as this fool runs around and do stuff, I hope he always keep them divided. He got the Congress messed up. He got it all. And as long as we keep that fool going, we will always win.
Stop. You can't be telling people that.
See the secret sauce.
See, and they don't even see that. They do not see the dissension, the ugliness that they did to Kevin McCarthy and what he did to himself, begged to be the Speaker of the House. And then this crazy politician, they put in his thing. Okay, one of us could step up and say, well, we don't like you no more. And you have to vacate the seat. Okay, that's what happened. And it got even worse. Johnson is a in all the way through his bone. He is a racist, he's a sexist, and he does not like women and people.
I love that. Mother Love, I love that he's there because he's a knucklehead. Remember, Trump got rid of the brilliant people. He got rid of Cheney. We could never get rid of Cheney. Cheney was brilliant, and they threw her out. They threw out Adam Kinzinger. They got rid of Mitt Romney. They got rid of Paul Ryan. They got rid of all the superstars, and they gave themselves Marty Taylor Greene, Bogert. They gave them Matt Gaetz. They gave them Johnson. Listen, I love it that those fools are in office.
It just looks bad. It looks bad around the world.
Yes,
but it looks bad. We are the last stock as a superpower. And remember, he said, "I'm going to drain the swamp." Yeah, you drain. What swamp did you drain? You put the swamp people in there. You put them in there.
We love that because if they stay dazed and confused and keep putting knuckleheads in there, we will always win. And that's why we've been winning since 2018. And has never stopped. And as long as knucklehead keep them divided, we will always win. And the bottom line is always win because we don't look bad. Remember, we got Hakeem Jeffrey.
Oh, they can't. They can't stand him.
We don't care what they do. Let them run around and join the white nationalist party. I love that the white evangelicals have forsaken God for Trump. That's the best thing ever.
That is horrible.
What is the best?
This is what I want to know.
They going to hell.
I want to know what kind of. This is the part I don't understand. What kind of power does this cat have over these people that they are that terrified of him? I mean, really?
They're not.
He can't even put his pants on straight. Remember, he walked out on stage with his pants on backwards. But you want to talk about President Biden? You know, you don't
Listen,
want that. You don't want to need two hands.
listen.
Oh, I just put it all over my shirt.
Love, listen. I love that. I love what they're doing. Stay that way. That is the best thing ever.
But you know what it is? Oh, wait a minute, I pushed the wrong button. You know what it is though? They're
I shouldn't.
terrified that they might have to step up, you know,
But
and they don't want to step up. They don't want to they don't want to act like they got any sense, you know, and they just it all just look real stupid. You know, it just look real stupid.
Mother love has never changed. In me and your lifetime, I'm born in the 50s. In our lifetime, they have never changed. They were just in supreme power. And as they see power uh, going away from them, this is what you get when you see that. It's only a couple of more trends. Another 10 years, the power will be gone. So they're fighting as hard as they can. Remember, when they start off anything, white nationalists, white evangelicals. See, when they started that way, they've always been that way. And I tell people we're in the best times ever because that's why they make America great again, because they're trying to go back to the early 1900s. So
And none of them
never
born
gonna
in the
happen.
1900s. They just
No.
going about, you know, what somebody else said.
Well, you've heard about the good old times. You want some too.
Well, see, we didn't have no good old time.
We did, but
I just really wanted to lay hands on Ron DeSantis when he opened up his stupid mouth and said, well, slavery taught them a skill set. They could go out and they could be milliners, they could be seamstresses, they could be blacksmiths. Oh, so they had a skill. I mean, I don't understand why people think that slavery didn't help Black people. And then you put up a picture of George Washington's sister like she was a slave.
Like I tell people all the time, Ron DeSantis has dug his own hole. And listen, he might be the governor of Florida, but he'll never win nationally.
No.
And he's done.
I don't know how he even thought that him trying to take on Disney was going to bode well for him. Are you
they have spanked him continuously. And I'm happy about that. See, I look at things in a different light.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy when he gets spanked. I'm happy when they go out there and say crazy stuff.
You know
that stuff makes me really happy.
You know, there's a German word for that, Schadenfreude. That means like glory in your misery.
Yeah.
And that's what he does and what he continues to do. And he's saying in public, when I get back in the White House, I'm gonna get revenge on everybody. He ain't said anything about what kind of policy he wanted to change. He just said how he was gonna make America great. And I'm still waiting on that. What happened? You took our credibility to up under the ground. We're looking up to see the bottom of our credibility. And you think that's all right? And other people think that's all right? You know what? But that, you know, that's a good idea, though.
Well,
just let them be cool.
Yes, I tell them, listen, I hope he become their nominee because it states who they are. It states that they talk about law and order, but they want none. They talk about when people do wrong, but he got 91 felonies on him. Their credibility, Trump supporters, is down in the dumpster because they don't believe in God. They forsaken their God for an idol. They don't believe in law and order. Law and order means if I can get my way, then we'll exercise some law.
Right.
But I love that he has them this messed up in the head because I let my kids watch Trump supporters sometimes just to show them how dumb they are. And these people think they could be in charge of you. Oh my God, listen to them. And we just crack up all the time listening to them because the thoughts that come out of their mouth, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, makes me happy.
Who put that bubble head? Wait a minute, you know what's bad when two bubble heads are arguing in the chamber, calling each other names, about to go to fisticuffs in the ladies' bathroom. You know.
But here's the thing I like. She didn't put herself in Congress. Everybody in their district must be as stupid as they are because you voted for her and you sent her to Congress. Now, I feel sorry for people that didn't vote for her. But if you send that bubblehead to Congress, then you're stupid yourself. So I consider all of their constituents really dumb.
And what about the George Santos guy? Lied about his name. My mother died in the 9/11. I'm Jewish. I didn't say I was Jewish. I said I was Jewish. And took all the people's money that would donate to him. So they kick him out. He is only the sixth American to ever been kicked out of the House of Representatives. And so now he's going on this chair. I'm going to take them all down. I'm going to tell you everything that they did. Oh, but I'm going to charge you $250 if you want me to say happy birthday to your daughter. Why would I want my child to even know somebody like you?
Really? Everybody tapped into the white nationalists. I'm fearing that we're going to lose power, because Trump showed them that he had 79 million people vote for him, even though he is a straight up white nationalist with an authoritarian streak in him. And people are looking at the votes of how many people are that racist in America and that scared of being out of power that you can get in office. He was a con man that just
at the beginning
conned them. That's all it was.
Okay. Well, I read his book a long time ago, The Art of a Deal.
Yeah.
And listening to his rhetoric and how he was cheating, vendors and telling people, y'all stupid if y'all pay taxes. I ain't paid taxes in 18 years. Y'all just stupid. I'm going to get the wealthiest people in the country a big tax break for the rest of their life, but y'all stupid because we're not going to pay no taxes. Okay. But my thought is, if you don't want to pay taxes, you don't get to ride on our roads. You don't get to ride in our airspace. You don't get to get protection from the, to make sure that you're okay. You don't get to use the resources when you're not helping to pay for the resources. Oh, but stupid people pay taxes. Okay, really? And stupid people gonna go to jail for not paying tax. Look what they did to Wesley Snipes. Put him in jail because he didn't pay his taxes. Look at this crazy man out here ruining America's reputation and telling us you stupid because you paying taxes. Really?
Well, he wish he would have paid taxes because Patricia Jane is tearing his butt up in New York. She's tearing him up.
Oh, she hates me. She hates me. The judge hates me. I hate his. I mean, when you talking about the other day, he said he started talking about the judge's wife. Okay, now you done just really lost what's left of your mind. Put a gag on. Still, he acts like, and the people who are enabling him acts like he's above the law. He's not. None of us are above the law. And if he's above the law, then I want to be above the law. I want to go out and break as many rules as I can. I want to go out here and steal from his. Okay, my love, you just sound crazy because you ain't going to even do no stupid stuff like that.
No, but see, here's the deal is he's trying to push them so he know he's guilty and he's going to jail. What he's trying to do is push them into doing something crazy that he can get off or he can have an appeal on.
Okay.
The judge are very patient with him. So when he goes for the appeal, go to jail, he won't have a ground to stand on. But, I love those people. Listen, those people don't have any money and they keep donating to a so-called billionaire. I love that they're going broke. I love that they're losing their farms. I love that they're losing. Listen, I'm having an excellent time with Trump because I'm the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if people want to look at it that way in politics, you have to look at how he has destroyed the Republican Party. And the Democrats couldn't have did that in 50 years if they wanted to. He did it in less than 8.
Right.
My hero. My hero. He tore their ass up, and I am ecstatic about that. And all we got to do is simply stay out of the news and keep voting.
And vote.
That's all we have to do is vote.
See what they're running on. See what their record is.
Absolutely.
And when you don't, you need to know your vote is powerful. Your voice is powerful in that ballot box. That's why they want to raise the voting age up to 21. Okay, but you can still go into the military and become a trained killer at 18. But you're gonna tell me I can't vote for the people who are willing to send me to war. I can't vote.
They trying to stop the college from voting. But my love, I don't even talk to family members that don't vote. And if my family member want to eat watermelon and chicken and have a drink, I'll talk to you then. But if you don't vote, I don't even talk to you about politics because you're too ignorant to understand the simple thing of voting. Those are my family members. I will not talk to them. I let them go. No, don't talk to me about listen, here's some watermelon and chicken or something shit. Just don't talk to me. But that's how I look at it. And everybody in my family must vote. I don't care how you vote. but you must vote.
See, when you said people in your family don't vote, that's like really strange to me. We had it was a ritual when all of us on your 18th birthday, you got you get up, you shower, shampoo, and shine, you have your breakfast, and you went to the poll to register to vote. You go to the voting office, you register to vote. If you didn't, and you got to come back with the little paper thing. And my mother said, if you better come in here with it, because if you're not voting, I'm not feeding you.
Well,
I'm just not gonna let you just allow somebody that you don't know anything about have a say in your life.
well, that's because you had good parents. See, I don't let my children turn 18. We go to the first time to poll together. You have to know about voting. So if you don't have good parents, and we got a lot of mothers and fathers out there who let their 18-year-old sit on the couch and say, "Oh, I ain't voting, dude. You can't stay here. You don't vote." You have to be able to put them out.
Imagine saying to your parents, "Oh, I ain't gonna vote. I'm just gonna sit here and be a bump on the law, and they ain't gonna do nothing for me." See,
Yeah, I don't understand
we
it, but
all had even when we were. I remember when I was 15 or 16 years old. Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Coalition, Operation Breadbasket, came to Ohio, came to Cleveland to support the first African American who was running in a major metropolitan city for mayor, Carl B. Stokes. And we couldn't even vote, but we could go, babysit their kids when they went to the polls. We were there to make sure that, they could get to the polls. I remember my mother and some of her friends, they called them jitneys. And they would come to your house and pick you up and take you to the polls. Some of us would watch their kids. One of the things that I did, I was one of the young folks for Stokes. And we had a thing, old folks, if you can't do it, we're going to sock some young folks to it. We got so many people registered at 18 to vote that he won. I think he was mayor for quite some time. I think he turned out. And our responsibility was to show them around the city, escort them to the different churches, and I'm sitting there, why we got to be around these stinky old men? What they talking about voting? And I knew about voting because my mother put that in our head. And we knew on your 18th, I have never, ever, ever in all of my years missed an election. Local,
absolutely. But
state.
I'm talking to your listeners. Some of them out there, if you got a child that don't vote, especially in the next election, see, because I'm gonna make I'll talk to you about mother love. I'm gonna make something for Joe Biden coming up soon, because people forgot to take government 101. So
remember when we used to take civics. When we had to take civics, and you had to know all this stuff about the government, the federal level, the judicial level, the executive level, and one of our social studies teachers, he was something else, Jesse Harris. He dressed immaculately, and I didn't understand the little man mentality. Little men want to seem bigger than they are. This cat would jump up on the desk. Literally jump up on his desk, and he would teach us on top of his desk, walking back and forth on his desk. Make sure we saw his fancy shoes with a pointer, and he pointed at you. You better have an answer. He was cutthroat. He ain't take no crap off of any of us, and we don't seem to have teachers like that anymore. Teachers do have the passion, but we have treated our teachers so horribly in this country, our elders so horribly. When COVID came out and people started dying in the nursing homes, I remember a couple of my girlfriends when they got their mother and their father out the nursing home because they got terrified of what was going on. Thank God they didn't come down with COVID. But the fact that you would allow this many people to die simply because you greedy, because in your head, this really is no big thing. And you telling people, and he should have been charged with trying to get medical advice. That's against the law, trying to get medical advice, and you're not a medical person.
Well, again, I said he only gave it to his followers, so I wasn't really mad that they went out there and they drank some bleach or they did some. Those are your cult. Those are your leaders. So I got great joy out of people thinking you could drink bleach. Go for it, dude. But remember, I said he only talked to his people.
Right. He wasn't talking to me.
No, and I was
talking to me.
And I was absolutely happy that he told them to eject bleach in them and do stuff. Listen, because if you did it, it showed who you were. So I tell people the Trojan horse that they picked themselves up because he's only there for the money.
That's it.
But
And he said for
they ain't
your
figured,
money. He
and
said
they
for
still
your
ain't
money.
figured that out. If we
Same
can keep the
Same thing
mother,
with them other bobblehead politicians they got in there. And they talk about, there are a lot of them that need to go. Mitch McConnell need to go somewhere in Pound Sand. He is just older than creases. You need to go somewhere. And while you sitting up there talking about Joe Biden is 82, at least he's cognitive. He knows what he's talking about. Okay, yeah, you 82 years old. Listen, he old enough to be my grandfather. I could, wait a minute, come to think, he's not that much older than us when you really think about it.
No, he's only 82. But here's the deal. If we want these old people to leave, the next election, if we give Joe Biden a extraordinary win and we take over the House and the Senate and the presidency, Mitch and the rest of those 85 to 92-year-old people will walk out the door. They don't have much longer. And all they waiting to see if they're going to come back in power in 2024. If Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and we give them the House and the Senate by a great margin, we will get rid of all of them because they can't stick around any longer.
Oh, they don't know whether the crap will go blind.
Well, yeah.
And this is what I had heard. This is what I had heard. I had heard that a lot of these white men who want to tell women what to do with their bodies, they're pissed off that women don't want to have babies by them. They pissed off that, what do you mean you don't want to have a baby? What do you mean you don't want to get married? That's her prerogative. She don't want to have kids. People say, when you gonna have a baby? When you gonna give us some grandchildren? And when they come back and say, I don't want to have kids. And their kids are saying, I don't want to have kids. I don't want you poisoning my child. I don't want you to do that. Even the 45th daughter and son-in-law had to step away from them. Well, I guess if one of your friends over there in the Arab Emirates give you $2 billion, you could go off and do whatsoever you want to do.
Absolutely.
Well, we're not going to campaign with him because he had no problem throwing them under the bus. None. And if people don't see this, you can't blame anybody else because you didn't vote or you voted the wrong way. And voting for these old Republicans, it needs to really be a term limit. I mean, I walk down the hallway in my house, walk in my office, I'm like, hey, what did I come in here for?
Well, they you know what?
Uncle Phil, Uncle Phil know me. I know you watching. I know you listening. They're my babies up there. They're my brothers and y'all. Yeah. They listening to us. They listening to us in South Africa, in Norway, in Spain, in Brazil, and of course in the U.S. You could get us on Blog Talk Radio. You can get us on Facebook, on Twitter. Oh, that's enough. We don't even want to get involved in this cat. On X, you can find us on YouTube and at Mother Love Show. He put what's the guy's name? I don't even want to remember his name, but this was the guy that got sued by the parents of the kids that were killed in Sandy Hook, and they sued him because
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. He put him up on the X, on the Twitter.
And I told him thank you, because here to do, as long as you got them knuckleheads doing that. White nationalists has been around forever, and they're gonna gravitate toward that. But we have to learn that he keeps these knuckleheads in a tight circle fence, and we will surround them. That's why we vote them out. But Alex Jones is broke already because he just lost all that money to the Sandy Hook family.
I mean, that was just complete evil.
Yes.
See, that's why I have to stay in a controlled environment. That's why I don't get involved in violence, because I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes you see people and you just want to lay hands on them. I can't be laying hands on nobody like that. I'd be threw my arm out. Yeah. And we all can make a change. We all have a choice. We have a choice. And those of us who are 18 years and older, it is imperative as an American citizen that you go and you register to vote and you vote. Read Absolutely. What is going on. Okay. Read what is going on. Read what's going on in your community. Know who your council people are. Know who your ombudsmen are. Know who your alder people are. Know who your mayor is. Know who is your representative in the House of Representatives. You can ask the average person, okay, who is your representative? And do you know what district you live in? I ain't know it was a district. I don't know what to thought my mother was. What? I know my mayor, and when I know the mayor, I know police, I know the doctors, they all know me, and they know I'm going to hold them accountable. Let people know what you're doing and where you're going with your social injustice.
I tell them all the time, but that's what we tell people. We must vote. We must continue to vote. That's why they're so mad. That's why they're doing everything they can to keep you from voting. If someone is trying hard to do something, it got to be for a reason.
Now,
And they
think
are
about that,
trying
people.
hard as they can.
Think about that, people. Why are they on your back like that? Why do they want to stop you from having a choice over what to do with your body for the women in the country? Because they know they can't compete. We got the power. And if young women don't want to have your babies and your grandbabies, you should look at yourself about that whole thing. You know, it's always, it went by so fast, it always do. We're going to have to talk again. It's always good to see you. Happy holidays.
Anytime.
Know that we
Happy
love you.
holidays.
Peace and blessings to you and your family. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, babies, and thank you for everybody who was coming in with us. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all a lot. Peace and blessings. I love you, and ain't nothing y'all can do about this mother loving you. I can turn it off. I know what I'm doing, sort of, kind of. I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you, Randy. Peace and blessings to you.
Welcome. Thank you, Mother Love.
Always. And peace to you, babies. Okay, I don't know why I can't turn this off.